This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
One, two, 3, 4, 5. How about that? Yeah.
Every day is something new with audio and technical issues. You know, we're figuring it out day by day.
Absolutely. So welcome in. This is the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com. Ooh, am I too loud or is that the background music? There's something. Oh, it's coming through your speaker. It's not coming through. That's what it is. It's coming through your.
That's my bad.
That's good. All right, there we go. Welcome in. It's a Thursday. All the connections are connecting. All the synapses are synapsing. It's a bye week, and we are maybe coasting our way through a bye week. But we got a lot of fun things to talk about today on the Joe Gaither Show. It is the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com, live here on the Bama Central YouTube channel, hanging out with our friend Mason Woods. You follow Mason Woods at @MAWoods_. You follow me at Joe Gaither6. You can find all our social media machines at Joe Gaither6. We appreciate you subscribing to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on Amazon, whatever your favorite podcast platform is. We're going to have a lot of fun here on a Thursday. It's a very special birthday. And so this might be a little bit of a personal episode. It's Halloween. We want to talk about maybe your favorite Halloween costume. What favorite Halloween? I think I wore the same Halloween costume for about 4 years in a row. I might have called it something a little differently a couple of different times. Never really was a Halloween guy past maybe 11, 12, 13, maybe 6th, 7th grade. Yeah. I think probably was my last Halloween. And look, I don't know when your last Halloween is. If you want to go celebrate the holiday tonight, collect a bunch of candy, rot your teeth, go enjoy yourself safely. Go enjoy yourself safely. But chime in. Let us know what your favorite Halloween costume was, either as a kid or what you're going to be dressing up as tonight. You know, I should have just dressed up today since we're on camera.
Yeah, we should have done that. And you know,
big fail. Mason, how we doing, man? You having a good day so far?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm having a good morning. Happy to talk about this very special birthday that you teased just a minute ago. It's I think most people listening probably can already tell who we're going to be talking about, but I'm very excited to get into it.
Yeah, so we're going to talk today about Nick Saban and his birthday, what he means to me, what he means to the Alabama fan base, why I have such a particular affinity for him. It's not because of the wins. It's not because of the championships. I really could care less about that. There's just so much to learn from Nick Saban. So we will talk about Coach Saban, his birthday. We'll celebrate that. And then we will also talk about a controversy in college football. We like controversy, and the controversy, it may be affecting the SEC. Oh, man, we upgraded our technology in college football this year, but maybe we didn't know what we were doing.
1 step forward, 2 steps back, maybe.
So we'll talk about helmet communications and problems with the helmet communicators. And then when we finish today, we will ask the question, can Jalen Milroe in the last month of the year get himself back into Heisman Trophy contention? Can he get himself to New York? I think it'll be probably a really long shot for him to win the bronze bust. Yeah. But to get to New York, he could be a top 4, a top 5 finalist with a strong month. Now, it's going to need a strong month, and it starts next week in Baton Rouge. But you can be thinking about that. You can comment. Do you think that Jalen Milroe, what will he have to do to get himself into the Heisman Trophy finalist contention, get to New York to watch Ashton Genty or Travis Hunter or Cam Ward win the actual award? But before we do that, we want to tell you about our friends Derek Daniel and State Farm. We are live here in the State Farm studio, right off of McFarland Boulevard. We already see Red, Reese, and Victoria. Their cars are in the parking lot. They'd love to talk to you today about all your home, life, and auto insurance. You can call 205-758-3391. Make sure that you tell them that the Joe Gaither Show sent you. We really, really appreciate them putting us on each and every day in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. That's, again, 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. So, Mason, what do you do? What do you get a guy that has everything? What do you get a guy that has unlimited resources for his birthday?
I want to ask you.
Sure.
We talked about this a few weeks ago. Do you think that the Alabama football account posts a happy birthday for Nick Saban after not posting one for Kalen DeBoer a few weeks ago?
Yes.
I think they do too.
Yes, I think that Coach Saban, I mean,
be.
it's his 73rd birthday today. Happy birthday. It's your 73rd
How does that
birthday.
make you feel if you're Kalen DeBoer? Does he even notice?
Well, I don't know that he notices, but I wonder if Coach DeBoer might have said, "Hey guys, no birthday post today. I don't really care. Like it's fine." He doesn't. Coach DeBoer doesn't seem like a guy who's looking forward and like making a lot of plans for his birthday. I really have never been, but this year I did, and it was nice. It was fun to like say, "I'm doing this for my birthday."
Yeah.
But Coach DeBoer doesn't seem like the type that's like, "Hey, birthday's on a Wednesday. Got to eat this steak. Got to have this cake. Got to see these people." I think he probably just treated it like a work day, especially considering what was going on in the facility at the time. I don't know that he's going to care, but people are going to make a big deal of it.
Oh yeah, and hey, we can make a big deal out of it.
It goes back to my friends who always say that Nick Saban's around too much still.
I don't think that's true for a second.
He's hovering over the program, the presence,
hands in the pot, doing everything, still pulling the strings, still controlling,
calling the recruits, organizing the game plan.
Do you think that you think there's been any recruits, since Saban has retired and they have, taken out to talking to Coach DeBoer, talking to
Womack and Sheridan?
Yes. And they've requested, hey, you think you could call Coach Saban and just let me talk to him?
Yeah, I think it's happened.
You think they've done it?
No. I think they'd be like, well, Coach.
Coach's a busy man.
Yeah.
He's got TV,
Yeah, but I'm sure that somebody's asked.
I guarantee it.
And you got to think a lot of these 25s, they're coming up. They were recruited by Coach Saban as juniors.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think they at least knew him a little. But yeah, you can't just put him on a call. Hey, Coach, you in the middle? He's on the golf course with Justin
Coach,
Thomas.
We're live here with
Coach, I know you're on the game day set. You're on Pat McAfee's show. You got time to talk to Billy Bob Five Star? He wants to ask you why he should come to Alabama. Coach Saban would be like, dude, you need to tell him why to come to Alabama. Like this is your job now.
Yeah.
This is why I got out of this.
Shoot. I guarantee it has to have come up at least once.
So Coach Saban's 73rd birthday. We've been experiencing Coach Saban for 18 years now here in Tuscaloosa, 17 years as a coach, and now this next year as kind of a surrogate father figure, grandpa figure. And Coach Saban has been massively influential. I mean, look, everybody obviously sees 6 national championships, reestablishing the standard, yada, yada. And yes, amazing. You rebuild Alabama football back to the place that it probably should be, its historical place. Mm-hmm. But it's not just about him being a football coach to me, because there are great football coaches. And one that just came to mind as the opposite end, Urban Meyer. You could have Urban Meyer here over 17 years. And I think Urban might have a little bit of of a bad rap, but I'm not a big fan of him. I think that he probably has some redeeming qualities. Everybody has a redeeming quality. Sure. Nick Saban, goodness gracious, how do I put this into words? Nick Saban, when I was growing up, I read Bear Bryant books because I wanted to be in coaching, and I thought, okay, you got to learn from the best. You have to, you have to figure out what made Coach Bryant tick, his character, his work ethic, this, that, and the other. And of course, Coach Bryant found competitive edges in recruiting, bringing in bringing in recruiting classes that were far beyond maybe what was reasonable. But Coach Bryant was the man. And then you move on, and I'm like in college, or I'm thinking about college, and you're a freshman. I'm at Alabama, and I'm working for Coach Saban. And it's like a military complex in the football. Like everyone is on high alert at all times. And it was just like, oh, this is how you should be successful. If you want to be a man, 18-year-old Joe, you want to be a man, this is a man's man. And people at least at that time, 2008, 2009, 06, like in that age, Coach Saban, he's such an angry man. He's such an a-hole. He's such a mean person. He really wasn't. He really isn't. He never was to me in that year, and he never was to me in the media. He's just very focused. And I think that people misunderstand Coach Saban in a massive way, use the media as maybe his mouthpiece, and sometimes that rubbed some people the wrong way. But I think there's just so many lessons to learn from Coach Saban. Work ethic, process-oriented. I mean, look, I struggle with it massively. I struggle with it massively. If the result doesn't go my way, I get down. I, poo-poo. If a result does go my way, I'm woo-hoo-hoo-hoo, too high and too low. Coach Saban is so, I just feel like the lessons that he has for not only us in Tuscaloosa, but really for all of college football and for anyone who wants to pay attention to him in leadership, are just endless. And so while it was only the 1 year that I worked for him, and I covered Alabama for 4 of his last years, maybe. It was great. But man, it wasn't about the wins. It was about the daily lessons that I felt like he gave to me as just a peon, as a no one, and obviously to his players and subordinates and coaches. I just think that his legacy goes far, far beyond actually winning games and X's and O's and recruiting players.
1,000%. I think another thing too, it's hard to see it and feel his legacy unless you're in Tuscaloosa and in and around I've only been here for 5 years now, 6 years now, but the city has changed so drastically, even in just that time. And most of it is attributed because they have a very successful football program that has brought in exorbitant amounts of money for this city and exposure and just eyes from all around the world to the city of Tuscaloosa. And he's done so much for the city. He built all kinds of things in and around town. He's donated money. He built houses for all these people. And he's just done amazing things. I think it absolutely goes way farther than just wins on the field and X's and O's. He is not just a football coach. He was an icon for the city of Tuscaloosa, for the state of Alabama as a whole.
And is an icon, and just a leader. That's I take my own work ethic and I take my own processes and I think, okay, how can I make it better? How can I make it better? And you always listen to motivational speakers, this, that, and the other. And I pulled 3 clips, 2 leadership clips and 1 off the field clip because yes, football coach, A+. But I think as a leader, just unbelievably driven. And then he has a special quality off the field that I think that really not everybody knows. So let's just start real quick. Let's start with here's the shortest one. I was in the room for this day, but I used to hear the story as a freshman. They told it through Joe Kine. You remember Joe Kines, the old defensive coordinator who was the one-time interim coach after Coach Shula? The players that year used to tell me, Joe Kines would run around the facility saying, everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die. And so that's what this reminds me of.
Everybody would like to be successful. Everybody's not willing to do the things you need to do to be successful. We had one speaker come here and showed the biggest tiger I've ever seen. Took up the whole screen. And he said, everybody wants to be the beast, but everybody don't want to do what the beast do. So if you want to be the beast, you got to do what the beast do.
I had a friend this week challenge me. I had a friend this week said, Joe, you're not doing enough. You're not doing everything that you need to be doing. You think you've been doing good. You've been doing okay, but you can dig even further. You can go even further on your show, in your spiritual life, in your off the field life, in your home. You can clean up even more. You can go even further. And so I want to be the beast. I want to go to heaven. I want to do these things. I want to excel. But you got to pay the price. And Coach Saban always was conscientious. There's a price to pay. And if you want to be the beast, you got to do what the beast do.
There was no instant gratification with Nick Saban. You had to work for everything. You have to work for everything that comes to you. And he showed that with the way he built his football teams, with the way they competed on the field, with the way they did things off the field, with the way he works off the field. It's just, That is his MO. You got to work for what you have.
Absolutely. One more on the same theme. And both of these, Mason, I'm sitting in the press room for both of these. And the hair, like that, and you can make fun of me, absolutely make fun of me at Joe Gaither 6, but the hair on your arms just stands up when he walks in and says, "Y'all ready for a lecture?" It's like, yes, coach, lay it on me.
Every week, his press conferences were appointment television.
Yeah, give me the wisdom, help me get 1% better in these 5 minutes right here. Just so appreciative.
Okay, y'all ready for a lecture? Talk about the importance of nothing. You get up every day, you're entitled to nothing. Nobody owes you nothing. You could have talent, but if you don't have discipline and you don't execute, you don't focus, what do you get? Nothing. If you're complacent and not paying attention to detail, what does that get you? Nothing. So nothing is acceptable but your best. So we need to be, everything is determined by what you do and you trying to be your best so that you can build on positive performance. So that, and that's the only thing, there should be nothing else, right, but that, for everybody. So that's what we have to stay focused on. That's what we need to do. And, we got rained out today, so we had to go inside. And we need to not accept anything but our best in terms of what we're doing in preparation.
Coach Saban, that was a lecture. He gave you a lecture. He said he was going to, and he gave you one. That was perfectly said. I think that is a prime example of this goes way farther than football. Everything he said there, you can extract it and apply it to your everyday life, and it's an extremely valuable lesson. Coaches,
the struggle, Mason. It's not overt. I don't look at myself in the mirror and think, oh, my parents love me, I deserve everything. Oh, God loves me, I deserve everything. But it's an like, oh, I'm American, gimme, gimme, gimme. Like, we're in this gimme culture. We're in this instant gratification, give me a result right now. And it's just important to humble yourself, I think, and really I think Coach Saban really does a great job of making you look within yourself. Am I really doing everything that I need to be doing to excel in whatever the goal is? Yeah. And I just appreciate him so much. And I appreciate him in another area. And maybe I appreciate him the most in this area. Because we see Coach Saban as a hard man. We see Coach Saban as a strong leader. We see Coach Saban as a winner. We see him maybe a little bit as a cutthroat competitor. But if you look under the hood, he is all that. But he is also
big softy,
a massive softy, and a loving heart. Coach Saban has loved his wife since 19, whatever. Many years.
They've
been dating since they married in 1971. Thank you. So whatever that is, Matt, whatever that quick math is.
And to hear him talk about it, he loved her long before that.
53 years or so, 54 years, right? Is that right? Of 60 something years. I'm not sure my math. I'm not a math major. 81, 91, 01, 11, 12, 53 years. I was right the first time.
Nailed it. First try.
I love my father, and my father honored my mom the entire time that I was in the household, and he still does today. And Dad, if you listen to this, I really appreciate you for that. I really do. But Coach Saban shows you. My dad was successful. My dad is in the TSSAA Hall of Fame for coaching, multi-time state champion as a track and field coach. So he was successful. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say the massive success, the global success of Nick Saban. Nick Saban goes to Italy and gets Roll Tided. Like, people know who he is. The global success of Nick Saban. And people say, oh, cutthroat man, very focused, career-driven. But he's also career-driven, and he shows each and every one of us how to love your wife. Not married right now. Love to be in the future. When that happens, I will be really gleaning from Coach Saban. Coach Saban, you see him on College Game Day. You remember a couple weeks ago with the Georgia game. Miss Terry Saban, everything in that entire segment was about honoring Miss Terry, making her look good. And look, we can think about all the way back to 2006, 2007. They're down to the Miami Dolphins, and Coach Saban was all about making the Dolphins successful. I know I have some Dolphin fan friends who don't want to agree with me, but a lot of the stories, a lot of the information that I have, Coach Saban was all in on rebuilding the Dolphins.
To his tenure with the Dolphins.
Right. He was, I'm going to make it or break it as a professional coach. But he's got a wife at home who didn't have a role in Miami. She's grown all her life. I'm the coach's wife in a college town. I can go do charity. I can go get involved in the community. I can go really help recruiting. I can go help other, players' parents, players' wives, or, that sort of thing. She could be a team mom. Mm-hmm. NFL teams don't need a team mom. They're grown men. They're adults. They've all got wives. They've all got mothers. They're not away from home. They're professionals. She didn't have a role. She didn't really have a place. Mal Moore goes down to Miami, begs Coach Saban. I'm sorry. I know it's unbecoming, but we just got to be honest with ourselves. Mal Moore begged Coach Saban. Begged and begged. And how did he really get Coach Saban? Well, one, the Dolphins didn't sign off on Drew Brees, and that was a massive thing. But secondly, got into the ear of Miss Terry Saban. You can have a role. You can rebuild. We can help you. You would be very important to Tuscaloosa. And she says, Coach Saban, we are a college family. We're a college family. We need to go back to college. This isn't really working out here. We can go make an impact in Tuscaloosa. Miss Terry is a saint. Miss Terry is an absolute saint. And to see Coach Saban at such a high level recognize that his wife is so important. I mean, look, throughout the entire college coaching days, he's going to work at 6 a.m. He's getting home at 8 to 10 to 9 to 11 p.m. So who's manning the house? Who's being the mother? Who's controlling? Miss Terry is the nucleus. And I just think that the way he honors her in every time her name gets brought up is so beautiful. Now, this is a funny story that we have. It's not necessarily as honoring, but it does show Miss Terry's character.
And it shows it shows just a bit of the fun side of Nick Saban.
Absolutely.
The soft-heartedness, able to not take himself too seriously kind of deal. I love this side of him.
This is Coach Saban talking about he tried to make Miss Terry feel like he was the catch, and Miss Terry quickly put him into place.
They had a homecoming day for Nick Saban, and all the guys I went to high school with and all the people, the family, came to it. It was a big deal, and it was wonderful. It really was. But when I was a kid growing up, my dad owned a service station, and we lived in the country. And my wife, I tried to date from the time I was in the 7th grade, she would never, ever date me. Never ever go out with me. She had this guy named Mickey Schaefer that she was always boyfriend with. She was from the city. She went to East Fairmont. She was the queen bee, the drum majorette, and all that stuff. And I just could not get a date. And here I am, the country bumpkin out here, pumping gas every day. And in those days, it's full service now. I mean, it's not like today. Somebody comes in, pumps your own gas, you collect the money. I mean, you had to clean the windows, check the oil, change tires, mufflers, grease cars. I mean, I was filthy, dirty, black fingernails all the time. Could never get a date. So finally, when I got in high school, we were pretty good. We were just a class AA school. She went to a big AAA school, and we always played them, and we beat them like a drum. But she finally noticed me. And I finally got a date. And she had dated this Mickey Schaefer guy for like 6 years. So when we go back for this reunion, lo and behold, Mickey Schaefer owns a service station. And Terry and I have been married for 42 years, so however many that was minus 5. So I said, I am not going to miss the opportunity to do a drive-by. Just to make sure she kind of knows how she picked. So we drive by Mickey Schaefer service station, and I said, see there, honey? There's your boy, Mickey Schaefer. I said, if you'd have married him, that's where you'd be now. She said, bullshit, if I'd have married him, he'd be the head coach at Alabama now. So,
do you think Mickey Schaefer is a made-up name?
I don't know. I hope that somewhere, Mickey Schaefer was just sitting at home and he saw that somebody sent him this clip and he's just like, what the hell, man?
Do you think Mickey Schaefer turned to his wife and be like, I see, come on, you got to pick it up. I could have married Miss Terry.
Oh, man. That is one of the funniest. That might be the funniest Saban moment, honestly.
I love it.
Great.
If you'd have married Mickey Schaefer, you'd be at this gas station. BS. He'd be the head coach at Alabama.
Oh,
I just love them. And I love, a couple of weeks ago, they were in Ireland, week 0. She's dancing on the college football stage with him. Everything. It's Coach Saban. It's about, look, people get the misconception. When I first got into media, they said, Joe, Coach Saban, isn't he so mean to you? I said, no, he's not mean. He's just dry.
Intense.
He's just intense. He's just dry. He's got a very dry sense of humor.
He's
and
very
I
funny
grew up in a household with a dry sense of humor. So I love that. It's just like, if you're not on your P's and Q's, he's going to bust your nuts a little bit. And that's just part of it. You remember
like ogre, he's layers. He's like,
you remember our buddy Austin from Bama Central. He's moved on. He's working for Clemson 24/7. Austin Hannon, I love you, brother. But Austin Hannon asks him last year, do you think this game is going to make Jalen Miller's confidence go? Something like that. Do you think he's going to continue on the rest of the game? And Coach Saban, but like, hypothetical question, Austin. I love you, buddy, but we know better. He pulls the Coke bottle up. He goes, I don't know. Is this a crystal ball? Why don't you ask the Coke bottle? What does the Coke bottle have to say? Because no one knows what's going to happen tomorrow. I just think that he's such a misunderstood character.
Yes.
And to me, he exudes strength. He exudes leadership, and a little bit like humility with his wife. Now, I think that he's only humble with people that he really, really respects, and I think he deeply respects Miss Terry. It's just, I feel blessed to have been in certain circles to learn lessons from Coach Saban. So, Coach, happy birthday. I hope you enjoy it. I don't know what to get you. I hope you go out today, play some golf. Where's College Game Day this weekend? So hopefully there's a really pretty golf course in that area, and you can go shoot 67 and really feel good about yourself. And hope Miss Terry doesn't give you a big, long to-do list. That was a great thing about retirement. He goes into retirement and he says, oh, I'm finally learning how to do a to-do list. Miss Terry leaves me a to-do list every morning. I knock it out, and then I go play golf. And it just shows, look, even in retirement, Miss Terry's priorities, I want to honor my wife. Then I'll go play golf and mess around. And then I'll watch my film and I'll get ready for so.
We love you, Coach.
All you unmarried men, all you men who are trying to do better in your life in any way, professionally, just put on some Coach Saban sound, learn from the master. I'm forever indebted for learning lessons from Coach Saban. We love you. Happy birthday. Eats 4 Little Debbies today instead of 2. just enjoy it, Coach. Happy birthday.
Yeah, I am, like you said, beyond thankful to have been in and around Tuscaloosa in the same time as Nick Saban. I think I learned a lot from him, not only in the way he carried himself, but just the way he taught his football players to carry themselves and everything, and the way that he just impacted this city and the state as a whole.
So if you want to leave us your favorite Coach Saban memory or anecdote, you can at Joe Gaither 6 on any of your social media machines. You can DM me or you can leave it in the comments. I'd love to look. If I haven't heard the Coach Saban anecdote, I probably want to hear it. So please, you can go ahead and leave it in my comment section or right there at Bama Central on the Bama Central YouTube channel because those stories just get me all fired up each and every day. Let's keep going on the show. We want to talk about a controversy But before we do talk about helmet communications, we need to tell you about our friends at Purple Turtle Roofing. They're the most reliable residential roof replacement company in Alabama and Mississippi. Purple Turtle Roofing, whether it's addressing leaks, storm damage, or general wear and tear, Purple Turtle Roofing is going to be there to deliver exceptional roof repair for your property. Purple Turtle Roofing is the leading expert in local residential roofing solutions, specializing in providing unparalleled service and quality craftsmanship for all your roof replacement needs. Call Dustin Foley and his team today at 877-PT-ROOF-5 for your free roof inspection. That's 877-787-6635 to schedule your appointment, and one of their qualified employees will come check out your roof for free. Make sure you're prepared for any and all of life's storms. You can visit them online today at roofturtle.com. We really, really appreciate Dustin Foley and his team. There was no rain in October. If we make it the rest of the day, no rain in October. And to me, that just means that the next storm is going to be nasty. So you might want to make sure that your roof is prepared. Call Dustin Foley today, 877-787-6635, Purple Turtle Roofing. And of course, we are live here in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios. You can call Derek at 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Mason, what did you dress up as a kid? What was maybe your favorite Halloween costume, or did you have a go-to Halloween costume as a child? Or this year was my best year. What was it? You were probably fifth grade and you had a banging costume.
I remember, and this might be the earliest one that I can actually have a memory of. So I would say probably, if I had to guess, we're probably thinking around, for kindergarten, first grade kind of deal. And it was like a ninja with like some ice, like an ice sword. And I wore that thing like every day from Halloween to the next Halloween. And I remember my dad worked nights, and he would babysit me during the day while he slept. He just slept,
Sure,
during the day, and then he'd get him going to work. My mom would come home. And I remember every day I'd go in there. Hey, Dad, can you tie the back of my costume so I can? And I'd to wear it around the house and run him. And he'd get you don't come in here, wake me up again. And tie it up, It just that was a good one. I had some pretty good ones. I was like a zombie football player one year. That was pretty sweet. That was probably around like fourth grade. Man, I don't know how I loved Halloween. I was a big Halloween kid. I still love Halloween.
I've got two that stand out in my brain. I remember being a pirate. My mother, my mom doing the chalk makeup on my face, like a fake beard, and had the eye patch. And I think I was a pirate maybe 2 or 3 years for sure. But my most memorable costume, I might have done this for 3 or 4 or 5 years in a row. Basically, if you think the karate gi, right? I think one year I was a karate man. But then the next year, my parents got me a lightsaber, and I was Luke Skywalker.
Hey, yeah.
I think I was Luke Skywalker like 8 years in a row. Not that many, but like many years in a row, because it was just, white gi, plastic lightsaber.
Works out.
I'm Luke Skywalker. So that was my go. Those were my two go-tos as a kid. When I came to college, I put the Xbox 360 headset on, and I'm a football coach. I was Mike Shula because I couldn't. Look, freshman year, you don't want to be Nick Saban. I wanted to be a little funnier. I wanted to coach the fired coach, Shula. One year, my ex-wife did a really, really good job. Painting my face like the Joker, Heath Ledger Joker. That was probably 2013, 14 or so. But really not as an adult big on the dressing up.
Yeah.
I need it next year. If we're still doing this show next year, I will dress up on the show.
Yeah.
I'll dress up as something. I'll figure it out. I'll go completely bald and keep the goatee and say I'm Stone Cold or something.
That'd be good.
Let's transition into some controversy.
This is very interesting.
Yeah, you think? Because you step into the 21st century, college football this year. How long has the NFL been doing helmet communications?
As
the green
long as
dot.
I can remember.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, I can't think of a
08?
time when it wasn't happening, and I don't.
Yeah, I want to say somewhere around 2008.
So I would check out because I wasn't really paying attention.
But college football decides they're going to go to the helmet communications this year. You got a helmet communicator in Deontay Lawson's helmet. You got a helmet communicator in Jalen Milroe's helmet. Nick Sheridan can talk to Jalen Milroe until 15 seconds on the clock. What you got?
1994?
What?
The NFL allowed coaches to communicate directly with quarterbacks between plays in 1994.
Then they had to like implement the defense sometime.
That's what I'm trying
in
to find
2008.
out when the defense started.
Oh,
It
man.
looks like 2008 maybe started with the defense.
Oh, what a guess, Joe. Fired up.
Yeah, 94 was offense, 2008 defense. Whoa, what a long gap there where they were like, you know what?
They hate defense.
It's crazy.
They hate
and
them.
people like don't even acknowledge it. The NFL especially, but football as a whole, just screws defense. Every new rule that gets put in place is, to allow the offense to score more. Oh, we got to protect the quarterback more. Oh, we got to protect defenseless players more. Like, it's insane. Give the defense some love.
Can I ask you on this note something that popped into my head this past week watching Alabama and Missouri?
Mm-hmm.
Did Justice Haynes target that boy? I mean, when's the last time you saw offensive targeting? You don't see it. You literally do not see it. It's not a call that happens ever. But
really, yeah.
Justice, and I asked Coach Gillespie yesterday, and Coach Gillespie really brushed me off.
It's interesting.
I asked him, do you have any concern with the helmet-to-helmet hit? And he goes, no, Justice knows how to run the ball. That's a good run. He just tough run. Like, he blew it off like it was no big deal. But look, that was a bone-breaking run.
I guess it's hard to make the defenseless player argument when it's a player that's actively trying to make a tackle on someone.
Sure, but he's literally. But Justice lowered his head right into
he did. If a defender did what he did, that defender's getting flagged most likely.
Exactly, and so it's not fair.
Yeah, no, it isn't.
And as someone who played defense very averagely, no offense for me, defense averagely, it makes me upset.
It is upsetting. I think I would love to see some more rules implemented in the defense's favor. I don't know exactly what we need to do, but I'm sure if you gave me a day to think about it, I'd have some good ideas.
I mean, the easiest one is like for the wide receivers, you can't have contact past 2 yards or whatever. You have pass a yard down the field. It's like, what? Like, at least give me like a 6 or 7 yards.
The ability for just any quarterback, any offense on 3rd and 15, if they want to just lob up a pass up the sideline, underthrow their receiver by 4 or 5 yards. Oh, pass interference. Let's get a free first down. It happens every single week. That is the most frustrating play to me. And it's like the announcers know what's happening. The opposing coach knows what's happening. It's just ridiculous. That shouldn't even be allowed to happen. There should not be an opportunity, a loophole for that to happen in the game. But yeah, the way they have set it up with how difficult it is now to play defense is it allows for that.
All right, this is from the Fort Worth Telegram. Something is off between the Big 12 and its football teams. A sign-stealing 2.0 is the title of the article. Came out, 2 days ago? Yesterday, updated yesterday at 7:20 was his last. And we want to acknowledge Mac Engel is the author here, reporter here. Thanks, Mac, for your work. Look, we implement helmet-to-helmet communications this year in college football. We say, we are a billion-dollar entity, and all these programs can't afford it. And Alabama bought it for Western Kentucky or bought it for USA, bought it for Mercer. Alabama footed the bill for one of these small teams to be able to use helmet communicators. I think it was for Western Kentucky the first week of the year, so that it was an even playing field. So the money was never a factor. My immediate thought goes back to Connor Stallions last year. Then my thought past that goes to the Houston Astros and to the Boston Red Sox with the camera banging the trash can and iPhone, iWatches, signaling plays, signaling pitches, and obviously last year Connor Stallion stealing signs.
Which boy, he's been really hamming it up lately.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I stole the signs. I got away with it. I got away with it, and our team won the national championship.
I don't know how the high school team that he's coaching has been doing the last few weeks, but I saw his first couple weeks. They were getting smoked.
Yeah, no TV copy to steal the signs off of. It's a lot harder to steal the signs on the fly. Okay, but on this track, the Big 12 basically during the Texas A&M and Arkansas game played on September 28th. Yeah, is that? Yeah, perfect. Yeah, 2020. Yeah. Arkansas, Texas A&M wins 21-17. According to Big 12 and Big 12 officials, the conference was alerted. The game was played in AT&T Stadium, so that's kind of like Big 12 country. That's why that was the first. I was like, why isn't this SEC? Because this is two SEC teams.
Neutral site.
According to Big 12 and Big 12 officials, the conference was alerted of a potential problem and notified the equipment managers and director of football operations of its member universities. Not everyone received or read the memo. They've sent a memo out to all the Big 12 teams that maybe these helmet-to-helmet signals, these airwaves, are easily hacked. You can get look,
tune into the frequency,
buddy. If you got a walkie-talkie and other people are using walkie-talkies, and you're turned to the right frequency, you can listen to people's conversation. Like that is, I was doing that in the 4th grade.
I mean, it sounds like if someone had wanted to, and someone maybe could have done that exact thing and picked up on some of these coach comms.
In a recent meeting with athletic directors of Big 12 schools, many of them claimed that they had no knowledge of this development. Texas Tech officials. Yeah. Texas Tech officials were concerned enough about this potential easy access of sensitive information to ask the league to explore and if it suggested that terms were using this data breach in sorts of gain advantage. Think of it as a potential marriage between the Houston Astros and the Michigan Wolverines. And it's also the access of this sort of live information also has value to gamblers, where wagers in real time on specific plays is possible in the growing world of micro betting. Look, I'm not a gambler, but if you're
doing
betting
micro betting, that calls the number immediately.
Yeah. Listen, if you're betting play to play, you got a problem, buddy.
You need to call the number.
On Wednesday, according to league sources, the Big 12, yesterday, the Big 12 planned to issue what amounts to an integrity report to Texas Tech and the rest of the league, that it had found nothing to suggest that any of the programs either accessed or used the potential information for a competitive advantage. The plan was to issue the report on Wednesday afternoon, yesterday. According to Big 12 sources, Texas Tech officials and football staffers are not thrilled about this. By Wednesday at 7 p.m., Texas Tech officials had not received the report. They were notified it was still coming. The concern about multiple Big 12 teams is whether teams had cheated, and they basically said, Big 12, this is ASA 9, ASA 10, ASA 12. The Big 12 told its member schools to change the frequency consistently throughout its games until software update was complete. Look,
if you guys could just, change your things up, because we have a problem on our end, but you guys got to fix it.
Every drive we're changing channels. Do you know how silly that is? Like, if I'm a hacker, if I am opposing team, I'm just operating my wheel. Like, not channel 1, not channel 2. They're on channel 3 right now. They're on channel 3. They're on channel 3. Let's go. Start writing them down.
And then, it seems like, this statement that what is it? They found no evidence that it had happened. It's like, even if you found no evidence that it had happened up to this point, it still can happen. Like, it's not like the issue is still there. This is ridiculous. This company is, or the Big 12 or whoever it is,
the company that manufactures the helmet,
so nonchalant about
GSC out of Wahoo, Nebraska, told teams that a software update was needed and coming to rectify the problem.
Like, we didn't figure this out 6 months ago? Come on, what are we doing?
So let's just make it right about us. If you're Kalen DeBoer, are you going into Baton Rouge with any sort of, like, buddy, we're going back, wristbands for everybody.
We're going to have, 8 coaches on the sideline in different colored T-shirts.
Yes.
Doing
it's time to, I love technology. Love it. It's great. You're watching us on technology.
I have
been
a big fan of the coach comms coming to college football. I think it's, it speeds everything up, makes everything a little more efficient, gives us some more efficient offenses and defenses. But
you better believe, if I could get access to Nick Sheridan talking to Jalen Milroe,
yes. I am half tempted to just go post up, go drive to Baton Rouge and post up outside the stadium with a walkie-talkie and just sit there twisting it, just trying to find it.
Those conversations between Sheridan and Milroe, or Womack and Lawson, because they're one-way conversations. Yes. It's just me talking to you. You're not hearing, Jalen Milroe can be like, oh man, I don't, I'm not saying he is, but Nick Sheridan could probably be the nicest person in his ear. Hey, Jalen, on this play, we want to we want to be looking for Ryan Williams on the flat route. Or he could be the biggest turd in the world. Look, mother, you know, he could, the entertainment value for one, but then just the competitive aspect. If you're like these play calls, the language, you start to pick up on it.
Yeah.
Like North, 75 power. All right, North is your formation. You're going in the 5-hole, power, you know, you start to put things together.
Mm-hmm.
Like these coaches,
you only have to listen for one drive, maybe two, and you've got it down.
These coaches, like this is their language.
Yes.
And of course, it's not Portuguese to Spanish, but like it is, you can start to figure it out and start to, you know, X wheel, Z cross, Y flat. Like, oh, well, Ryan Williams running the wheel,
Yeah.
he's running across. And like, this is bad, man.
It is extremely bad. Because what do you do if you are a college football team? You know, do you just say, okay, we're cutting it off now? Because up to this point, I imagine you're very used to using it now. You've been using it for 6, 7, 8 weeks. It's going to be real hard to go
Our
back.
guys have been using it since the spring.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be really hard to go back to doing normal signs, I would think, if you're this used to using. So I'm glad Alabama's in a bye week, and maybe if they're going to make that switch, they've got ample time now to implement a new sign system. But this is a big problem for college football. I think this is only the beginning of it.
With the money being so high and the stakes being so high. I mean, look,
the gambling aspect alone is
those
insanity.
Michigan fans, they don't give a rip about Connor Stallions. They're celebrating a national championship. Yep. That's how every fan base will be. If you can, of course, Connor Stallions disgraced. He's not really. And Harbaugh, they got away with it. They're all in like.
Yeah, Harbaugh got to go.
These lines are being blurred, and these people are intentionally trying to blur the lines because they're trying to find every competitive advantage they can. Yep. You cannot leave. Like, this is, what was the line? Duct tape on a cracked windshield? Like, yes, this is, you're driving down the highway with a couple of strips of duct tape in front of you, but bugs are just flying. Like, it's ridiculous. I cannot believe that this isn't even an issue. So the update and really where you are, just to kind of leave this as a conclusion, is, you know, the communications company, they're working on putting out an update. I believe, did I see Ross Dellinger? Because Ross Dellinger tweeted something, and I'm a big Ross Dellinger fan. Ross Dellinger from Yahoo Sports, right? He was with On SI. Now he's with Yahoo, correct? Yes.
Yeah, this is just something that, you know, even now, if, you know, like every coach in the country has lost trust with this company, even if some update comes out.
Bruce Feldman, a hot story in the past 24 hours inside the coaching world. What is up with the tech issues with helmet communication? The Big 12 has instructed the teams to return their helmet-to-helmet communication equipment, sources tell The Athletic. Ross Dellinger. SEC, this is us, guys. SEC sent a memo today alerting these schools that they could, if they wanted to, send their equipment to the helmet comms company's headquarters in Atlanta to get them affixed with a firmware patch. League has reported no significant security issues with the equipment from the coaches. So Dellinger continues, just real quick.
Yeah.
Big Ten schools were alerted of the same during an administrative call earlier today. That's yesterday. And one more, SEC statement about the issue to Ross Dellinger. We have been aware of the issue and have stayed in communication with GSC, that's the company, the manufacturers, and our college conferences, as well as our schools. We are not aware of any instances of the system being compromised during games. GSC has developed an update to resolve the issue, and we have made all our schools aware of the ability to update their systems at the time of their choosing. Mason, why would they be aware of breaches? If I was able to hack Missouri last week from the Alabama press box, there ain't no way I'm letting anybody know that.
No.
I'm Coach DeBoer. Coach. Guess what I found? Coach. But that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Like, and of course, loose lips sink ships. If you tell a secret to more than two people, it's going to get out. But I think that when there's a competitive advantage here, hey, did Billy hack into Missouri's comms? Are we getting their play calls? Oh, Malachi Moore, they're gonna run a post right up the right. Like he threw that ball right at Malachi Moore. He was waiting on it. Oh gosh. Not to suggest that anything was happening, but like you wouldn't know.
No.
You'd have to do what you like. You would have to like. How did Connor Stalions get exposed? Ohio State kept saying this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem, and then more teams. I think they have our signs.
The right
I think
people in the right circles kept talking until it was enough people talking that it came out.
Unbelievable.
This really is insane.
Praise the Lord for a bye week.
Yeah. And I don't like
because if you were playing a game on Saturday, do you? I mean, yes, it's high priority, but do you have enough time logistically to get your equipment to Atlanta, get it patched with an update, and get it back?
If you're playing across the country, I don't think so.
Nuts.
Because you also have to think like logistically for this company, this is a nightmare.
Egg all over your face.
Like, golly,
they better pray that nothing comes out. Oh, I was listening to Coach Prime's calls all the whole game
because that will completely tank their company. They will be forever known as, oh, you remember when college football tried Coach Com? You remember what happened? Like
you think that's why Indiana's 8-0? I don't know. Like,
it's crazy.
Pittsburgh, undefeated Pitt.
It's been a bit of a weird year in college football. There's a lot of teams that.
There's no way Vandy hacked Alabama systems up there in Nashville. Was I mean, they're pretty smart. They're pretty smart people.
It's crazy. This is it just opens such a massive can of worms.
Terrible.
I mean, if I'm a coach, I think at this point you have to commit to just not using it the rest of the season.
No. Yes. If I'm Coach DeBoer, I say, sorry, guys.
I know it's been fun. But
break the wristbands back out.
Yeah.
Wristbands for everybody.
Yeah.
Ooh, all right. So we'll follow this story and see where it goes. Thank the Lord for a bye week. Alabama does have plenty of time to send their equipment to Atlanta to get it patched. I'm sure that's going to be highest priority for Ellis Ponder and the operations staff today, as this has all come out really yesterday. Just absolutely mind-blowing. Last topic for the day. And we want to thank Derek Daniel and State Farm for sponsoring the program. We're live in the Derek Daniel State Farm studios right off of Skyland Boulevard. You can call them at 205-758-3391 for all your home, life, and auto insurance needs. You got to make sure that you're properly insured on the road, especially here in Tuscaloosa with all the construction and all the drivers from all over the country meeting in Tuscaloosa. You got many different driving styles. It makes for a little bit of chaotic situation. Make sure you're properly insured. 205-758-3391. Call Derek and see how much he can save you today. I woke up this morning, Mason, and I'm like, all right, we got a bye week topics. We got to figure some things out. And I think we've done pretty well so far. Let's close it with about a 5-minute spiel here, 5-minute topic. The Heisman Trophy race, when I woke up today, everybody's blasting. There's no favorite. There's no leader. All these guys stink. All these guys are average. Not to say that, but like you just referenced it. It's been a weird year. There's not really been anybody. That dude is the best player in college. And I think that you might have an opinion. I think there are some valid opinions. But given that context, I think it's fair to say that the Heisman Trophy race is still pretty open.
Yeah.
I don't think we're locked in. I think there's a couple favorites.
Especially considering how we know the voting goes a lot of time. I think it's very wide open.
I think there's a couple favorites, yeah. But I'm wondering, Jalen had a tough October. Jalen Milroe had a very tough October. September was amazing. September was unreal for Jalen Milroe. Set a lot of records, but pretty tough October. Let's just be honest about it. If Jalen Milroe has a strong November, if you go into Baton Rouge next week and you put up, here's 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, I've got 300 yards of all-purpose, and we've won the game, and we're still in the college football contention. And then, of course, you got games after that. If Jalen Milroe has a strong November, can he get himself to New York as a finalist?
It's really tough because, you look at the games they have left on the schedule. You've got a hobbled Oklahoma team. You've got Auburn, Mercer, and LSU is your one chance to really wow people. That's going to be, that's going to be the one game. It's going to be the one primetime game, night game, Death Valley, I'm assuming.
Bah, 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 bah.
And I think unless he just absolutely murders, I mean, and we're talking like he needs 200 yards on the ground, like 3 touchdowns, 2 in the air, 200 yards. Like, he needs to absolutely, I mean, I don't think 300 all-purpose yards is enough. He needs to be pushing like 400 or 500 with five touchdowns or something. Like, he needs a performance like that, I think, to get back in the good graces of the Heisman voters.
What if he absolutely eviscerates Auburn as well? Like, he gives a good game against LSU, goes to Oklahoma, has a decent game, and then just eviscerates the Tigers.
It's tough. It's
'cause I know they're not good, and so like people will say,
I think that's gonna hurt him. Is this last stretch is not the toughest in Alabama's schedule? I think it does not play into his favor that throughout maybe the hardest stretch of the schedule he didn't play his best football. But he does have a chance to at least turn some heads against LSU. That's going to be a good win. Obviously, them losing to Texas A&M last week does not help. But they're still going to be a ranked team. It's still going to be a ranked matchup. Still has a chance to be a ranked win on the road. So I just think I think this might just be a year where we see 3 invites, though. And
those are pretty obvious. You want to? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty, and Cam Ward. And
they're not going to screw Ashton Jeanty by not inviting him, are they?
No, not a chance.
Because that's
because Boise State they're at least in the conversation.
They're in the conversation for playoffs.
If they had 4 or 5 losses, we'd maybe be having a different conversation about that. But they're in the conversation. People are talking about Boise State. I think he's absolutely a finalist.
That's my biggest concern for him is that people are, it's just Boise State, and you've had him or Travis Hunter. He's got to be in New York.
Yeah, I think he is. I think you at least see Cam Ward, Ashton Jeanty, and Travis Hunter in New York. I think that 4th spot, though, is kind of just up for grabs.
Isn't didn't I see Dylan Gabriel was the overall favorite today? Heisman Trophy odds. I think I saw it. Yeah, it was Dylan Gabriel.
Wow.
Now, Dylan Gabriel, Travis Hunter see major shifts. This is about 17 hours ago. Oh, buddy, I thought I was logged into that, but I guess I'm not. 2 days ago, betting favorite. Yeah, here we go. FanDuel. We'll just play.
I think when you look at what, at least Travis Hunter and Ashton Jeanty.
Travis Hunter's plus 200, okay. Dylan Gabriel 250. So second. What? Cam Ward 300, Ashton Jeanty at 450. And then you have a massive drop off to everybody else. It's Kate Klubnik at 1,500. It's Carson Beck at 4,000.
No.
Where's Jalen Milroe? You want to place a bet on Jalen Milroe winning the Heisman Trophy? You get plus 6,000 odds. $1, Bob.
Wow.
$1, Bob.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, I mean, I'd do it. I'd lay it down for $1.
Hey, $1 Bob on Jalen Milroe.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and act like I've watched all of Oregon's games this year. I know Dylan Gabriel has put up some gaudy numbers in some of these games, but I know their offense has also looked pretty stagnant at times this year. They've not really been able to finish drives, I think, a lot. He's put up big numbers, but hasn't really had the touchdowns, I think, sometime to show for it. They've been in close games with some teams they really didn't have any business being in close games with. I don't know. I think maybe that's a little bit of just quarterback that plays for a big undefeated team bias.
That annoys me.
Yes.
That really annoys me.
I think, personally, I don't think you can give it to anyone other than Travis Hunter or Ashton Jeanty. I think one of those 2 players, and I am fine with either of them winning it. I think it has to be one of them. You look at what Travis Hunter's done this season. He is averaged, I think, over 100 receiving yards a game and played every defensive snap for his team. He's won an offensive player of the week. He's won a defensive player of the week. I don't know who the last player you can say that did that was. He's insane. Like, he is. If the award is for the best football player on the field, Travis Hunter is the best football player on the field. Ashton Jeanty might be the best football player. Like, it's not Dylan Gabriel. It's not. I like Cam Ward. It's not Cam Ward though. It's one of those 2.
I'm with you on Travis. Like the 2-way ability. I go back to a conversation I have. I love my buddy Taylor to death. And Taylor, if you listen to this, I love you to death. But he's a Tennessee fan, and he is adamant. They screwed Peyton Manning in 98. They screwed 97. They screwed Peyton Manning in 97. And I'm like, buddy, Desmond Howard played on offense, played on defense, and special teams. Like, and they won the national championship. Yeah. Like, yes, look, Peyton was great. Great player. Mm-hmm. Amazing player.
He did not play defense. Special teams.
Like, but you got Desmond Howard, Heisman Trophy in the Heisman Trophy pose in the end zone on a punt return. You show me Peyton Manning returning a punt or covering anybody.
And you mentioned that, like, Travis Hunter has played exponentially more offense than Desmond Howard did, than Charles Woodson did. Like, any of those two-way players, like go back and look at it. They didn't play a ton of two-way. They played very.
Desmond was a little on offense.
Yes,
Desmond was more defense, wasn't he? Corner and a punt returner, and then just a little bit on offense.
Like Travis Hunter is the leading receiver and the best cornerback on that team. He's the best player on both sides of the ball. It's insane.
Man, if you're an NFL team, are you drafting him to play corner or wide receiver?
I'm drafting him, and I'm saying, hey, buddy, what do you want to play?
We need you to play both. We'll pay you $100 million. Do
I'm
both.
letting him take his pick.
All right, we're going to be done for the day. That's been it. We want to say happy birthday again to Coach Saban. Thank you so much for the content, but thank you so much for the lessons as well. Happy 73rd birthday to Coach Saban. You can let us know your favorite Coach Saban moments or memories in the comment section at Joe Gaither6 or at Bama Central. I thank Mason Woods for joining me today. Make sure you follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_. We will be re-recording All Things Bama tomorrow. We did not love the audio. We're going to be talking about the Memphis scrimmage on Monday, the basketball Memphis scrimmage on Monday, and we will kind of set up this coming Monday's opener against UNC Asheville. So make sure you check out All Things Bama for that. If you want to see a different side of me, since we're at the very end here, I do record a Chicago Bears podcast once a week, Believe in Monsters, and we got very, very animated, as you can imagine, yesterday. Much different language barrier, I will let you know that. So if you're not interested in that, that is A-okay. But if you want to see me lose my mind in a different way, you can look up Believe in Monsters podcast. So we'll get out of here for the day, and we'll be back with the Football Friday tomorrow right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.